When you think of Japan, you think of weird places to go. And one of the places I did get to go was the gun bar. The gun bar is an experience on itself. Basically, you go in, you take an elevator up, and it's this sort of lounge area where you have a bar, and then you have people bringing drinks out to you. And they have menus. And the two menus that they have sitting on the table, one is for drinks and one's for guns. I do believe it was on the right side of the bar area. They had like a shooting range, and you could go in there and you could shoot pellets. And you could do target practice. And obviously, like, if you're a tourist, and there's probably a lot of tourists there that go there quite drunk, but there were a lot of people that obviously go, especially in Japan, drinking is more of a social thing. Whereas in Australia, we do it to get really fucked up. But it's a really cool experience, especially when you get to hold guns that you probably never got to hold. For instance, I got to hold a SOCOM, which is the gun that Snake uses in Metal Gear Solid. So this place is called the Akihabara Base Shooting Bar. Now, they're not obviously real bullets. They're all airsoft bullets, so you're not going to actually really hurt somebody. And they do have people that watch you while you're doing this sort of stuff. So you're not going to go out there and you're not going to make a dickhead of yourself. It feels like a sort of social after-school club. And then once you're ready, they get somebody to take you through and you can start shooting targets. And they had like a little sort of a person outline target. And then they had these other targets that kind of flip open and close as you hit them. And depending on the guns as well, and depending on the menus, it's not too expensive. And I think people can bring their own airsoft guns there, because it seemed like an airsoft gun club, not just a bar. Maybe that's how they get some of their funding, is through the airsoft club. But it was still cool. Such a cool experience nonetheless. This was also my first time trying Kobe beef. Again, that's premium beef. It's the most expensive beef because there's a lot of, like, as you can see, the little white lines, there's a lot of fat. The chef would cut you off a slice and then hand it to you, and then you cook it on a little stove. And then you eat it while you're having your beer. And then if you want another slice, you can say, yes, I want another slice. And then they bring it out. And it's kind of like a really small room. So like there's sort of like, imagine like me and then like three other people here. And then there's the chef, you know, and he's just standing there, and you can see all the beef behind the glass cabinet. And then obviously you can say whether or not you want 1 or 2 servings, and then whether or not you want more. Again, it was such a small little sort of restaurant, like a little sort of pop-up tiny restaurant. And again, Japan is known for how tiny things are there too. So having this sort of like hole-in-the-wall restaurant experience, especially my first time trying Kobe beef, was a really cute experience, especially along with my discovery of finding the perfect curry was definitely Kobe beef. So Japan is known for its love hotels. Now, if you do some Google searching, you can find some really bizarre love hotels in Japan. But I did find it a very difficult experience to find love hotels that I really wanted to do videos on, especially just finding them out the way, or finding whether or not they were still open, because some of them were not open, or some of them had kind of faded off into existence. So we went to one of the most famous love hotels. And when I say famous, I mean that a lot of people have talked about this love hotel, because when you talk about love hotels in Japan, a lot of the photos from this place come up. So to get into the love hotel, you obviously have to scan your card or put money in before you can actually enter the love hotel. But there's kind of like a door between another door to go in. The love hotel that we went into, the room that we picked specifically was this bondage room that, and again, was one of the more famous ones that a lot of YouTubers talk about. And yeah, obviously when you go in, you have to put in a certain amount of time that you want to take. You can say whether or not you want to be there all night, or, you know, whether or not you want to be there for a couple of hours. They got free Wi-Fi and stuff like that. So to be honest with you, if you wanted to crash there on the equivalent of maybe, like, I don't know, if you were really drunk or something and you were in Japan, maybe even if you weren't having sex, though it's probably cheaper just to get an Airbnb and probably a little more sanitary. So the other thing they've got in there too is they've got menus in there for costumes. So obviously when you go into a Love Hotel, you can scroll through cosplays and you can order cosplays. Whether or not they bring them to the room or not, or they have like, you know, a storage facility downstairs where they sort of drop them off at the door. Still pretty cool. You can get meals and stuff delivered, and obviously you could probably get some Uber Eats stuff delivered, though I don't know if somebody would actually deliver an Uber Eats. What I found really interesting is they had a toilet, and it was a working toilet, right next to a seat, which was obviously punishment for getting, well, you know that scene in, what's the movie where he's getting slapped in the nuts? But it's one of those chairs, and then they had a sort of like full-on bondage, strap yourself in chair, which was fucking insane, but again, really fucking cool to see. Because, again, if you go in Japan, you want to see some weird fucking shit. And before anyone asks, no, me and my partner didn't do anything in there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have sex in a Love Hotel. Probably not this one. They had, and then when you went into the bathroom and they had the shower area, they had this full-on bondage strap-up section where they had like I think they're called the stirrups, where they put your legs up. They had everything in there, man. And yeah, if the walls could talk, man. If the walls could fucking talk.
Follow me, and you'll see a world of pure imagination. Oh, this is a leg stirrup thing. Woo! It's alright. What do you reckon?
I mean, fuck, they even had like a hot Tenga. It was like a Tenga where you put your junk in the Tenga and it heated up and shit.